All right, welcome on back, everybody. Wild Willy here with our Get OP and early DLC walkthrough. We are at the Altus Highway Junction. Just to recap, last episode we were down here grabbing the rest of the map fragments in Caelid, so we have all of Caelid uncovered. Then we hopped on over here, rode the Dectus lift up, and got warped over to Volcano Manor and just grabbed the Grace here and then came back. Then we swung up here and grabbed the map fragment for the northern portion of the map. And now we are going to head east. So where we're headed here is we're going to head up this road. And there's a falling star beast here, a full-grown one. Basically, we're coming up this side of the road because there's a rune bear here. And you can't get up this side of the cliff, but you can access here. And there are a bunch of soldiers on the bridge that will give us a very hard time if we try to go straight up. So we're going to swing up this side and then hop up and over and run through to avoid that. So at the very end of the last episode, we grabbed some stuff. Just ground loot sitting out on the ground. Hallelujah, boys and girls. You don't like wearing a bikini or a loincloth. We have the Noble's traveling garb. Just 3 pieces, but hey, guess what? We're not naked. Looks pretty good. Nice and clean. So let's head on out. We're headed, kind of across there to the southeast. Let's mount up and get going. And so we're going to head south. You can kind of see a little campsite there, a little smoke. Just a little loot that we can grab. This just gets us safely across the road. Beast blood. And now we're heading up on the right-hand side of the highway. Little road. You're going to start to come across some soldiers and some gravity dudes. Mining rocks. I don't know what they're doing. But we're just staying off here to the left. Up ahead is where the falling star beast is. There's a crater over there. You can see that looming into view. And this is where we want to come in. So you see the crater, you see all the rocks here, and you see this nice little gap that we can slip through. And if you look down to your left, you can see the soldiers and archers. And up ahead, we have 2 tree sentinels. And you guys, my veterans know the drill. They're going to start riding forward, and we're just going to ride straight up the middle to the gap between the door. They are going to swing and miss. And we are just going to run for it. Now, they are on a leash. There's a Grace there. They will be tethered before they can reach the Grace. So we're going to ride. We're going to hop off past it. And then we are going to rest. And see, they're tethered. They're already heading back. They will reach as far as these, statue pedestals right here, which is kind of terrifying. Let's rest to get rid of the loud music. Enough. Okay, so 2 golden seeds. And I'm getting turned around. There it is, the map fragment. Let's grab that. And now Royal Capital map found. So let's open that up. So the next thing we're going to head for, we are going to grab our first smithing bell bearing. It's the 3-4 one. So we're going to head here. And we're going to hop across the gap. We're going to go down and we're going to end up right here for another Ash of War, and then we're going to head down here to the cave. I'm going to make it morning again, so that's where we're headed. For my strength boys, the Giant Crusher is up here. Big old hammer. And then the Guts Greatsword was back over here. Smoldering Wall, if you head east, there's a carriage guarded by a bird and some dogs, and you can grab the Greatsword, like the Guts Greatsword. But anyway, back to here. Let's make sure we have the right Ash of War on our weapon. We want to have some sort of AoE again. So you can go back to the club. And we might as well do this now because... Alright, so you see how right now blood loss build up at 50. That would make it sacred. We will change it to sacred if we were fighting like in a catacomb with skeletons, or if we were fighting one of the mariners. We would change it to a sacred infusion. The golden vow, we can stick this on a dagger, part of a very simple buffing routine. But you see how the blood loss buildup drops slightly, but we get frost buildup. And this is what allows us to kill Grail much faster. So we're going to go ahead and put that on in the cold affinity. This is going to allow us to kill another golden scarab. Not golden scarab, another invisible scarab for an Ash of War. That's Prayerful Strike. It's really good on something like a Great Hammer, like the Great Stars, which we're gonna pick up. Always good to have a big bonk weapon. And again, like, just drop on down, mind the gap there ahead of us. There's a little gap here. And we're gonna swing on down, and then we're gonna head for the gap that we just jumped over. And you can see that's our scarab. Now I would stop right here. It's gonna head back through here. There are more of these slugs that will come, so you want to get lined up with it. That did not. What the heck? That's the first time it didn't just outright kill it. All right, this is a bit of a problem. I might have to come back. All right, we took it out. Normally they just die. That's the first time I've ever had to... I might have done it too early and just brought it out. But anyway. Heading over here towards the cave. So now, this cave... We're in here to get the bell bearing. We do 0 damage with our Morning Star. Our Morning Star does strike damage. Any sort of hammer or club is going to do strike damage. Against these miners, which are what are in here, that is what we would want to do the most damage to them. If you have a like fully leveled Bloodhound's Fang, that'll also work, even if it's like slash or piercing damage or whatever, but strike is what you want against these like stone-like enemies. So we're just gonna run through. There's gonna be a couple people that might aggro to us. There's gonna be a vulgar militiaman. So this might be a suicide run. So they're gonna run in, head towards the miner. We're gonna drop down there. Don't drop all the way down. You can farm these guys for smithing 5s. So that's what we want. And right below us is a vulgar militia. So we are gonna hop on down and we're gonna book over here. He threw something and he's coming for us. There he goes. We get iframes opening the chest. Pop our flask. Roll through here. I think the miner that was up here dropped down looking for us or is running. And we are just running out of here and getting back to the Grace. So that's it. Mission accomplished. We just wanted that smithing bell bearing. Let's go ahead and level up our flask with the golden seeds. Now we're going to need 4. All right, so let's get out of the cave. It's over here. Can't warp when you're underground. The ruins that have the little underground areas, that doesn't count as underground. You can warp out of those, but when you're in a like cave or catacomb, you can. So let's get rid of our mark. Let's go back over here. We're gonna make it daytime, and then I'm gonna put some more marks on your map. All right, so late day, make it morning. All right, so we're going to be riding right up there. There's another little minor Erd tree that's got 2 more golden seeds right there. Then we're going to ride up to the face of this cliff. And then right over here, there's another grace that we can get. Then we're going to double back on ourselves right up here and right over here. There's going to be another grace and a merchant in this shack. And then I think where we're going to end up is we are going to ride down here and back down to this spot. And this should be where Boggart moves to, and he should have boiled crab now instead of boiled prawns, which is the upgrade. So anyway, let's get started. We're back here at the Grace. We're just riding up. Another one of those gargoyles is gonna spawn. There's a fight that we'll do later that is 2 gargoyles. It's really a pain. This gives you some experience fighting gargoyles. They really aren't fun at this point for us. Like I said, not naked, wearing a bikini or a loincloth anymore, but we're not wearing armor either. And we have a +0 weapon. So here's our first mark. 2 more golden seeds. Ride through our mark. Alright, so now we're going to ride right over there towards this kind of... where the cliff is kind of jutting out a little bit. And we are going to ride along the wall. And the reason for this is Margit is over there now. There is a, like, shade version of Margit. Like, that dude right there, if you ride over to him, he will turn into Margit and fight you. And it's a beefier version of it too, not the easier starter version that we fight at the beginning of the game. So let me just pull up my map and get rid of that mark. So we're going up here, swinging around to the left and heading up towards that merchant. That's our next stop. There's some loot over here. I forget what it is. This is the only thing worth grabbing. Golden Rune 7. There's like one other piece of loot that you can see over there in the tent to the right. I forget what it is. It's garbage. I'm not going to get it. Y'all can tell me in the comments what it is. This area we're running through, some more undead are going to spawn. Don't dilly-dally. So we're just going to double back on ourselves. You can grab the loot as you ride past. Another one up there. Smithing Stone 5. Definitely want to grab that. And then we're hopping up there because you can see the 2 dudes. These guys have already spawned, and they will aggro. They've aggroed. They will chase you all the way to the Grace. And they, like, spit death. Death blight. Not fun. Alright, so we're here. Let me just show you the vendor. We can get rid of our mark.
Is someone there? A customer? Well...
More arrows. I think he's got golden arrows. You want to do holy damage to something. He's got rune arcs. The thing that we're eventually going to want is the sentry torch, but that's just much later in the game. For those of you who know, to solve the puzzle in the consecrated snowfield, there are some assassins that are invisible unless you have this torch. So we are done here. We are going to hop back. Nope, we're going to head down here first. And then we are going to head over here. There's a mausoleum that we're going to grab. And then there's like a hero's grave. It's kind of a catacomb. And then there's another catacomb over here. So we're going to head over here. Hopefully Boggart's there. And then we are going to get those 2 graces at the start of both of the catacombs. So again, ride past those guys. Just going back the direction that we came. Just keep moving. The undead aren't going to be a problem. You're going to ride past faster than they can spawn. And we're going to swing out over the hill to the east. As you're heading up ahead, you're going to see a pathway off to the right here, just after these rocks, and swing on around. There are some traveling noblemen that are going to get shot with great arrows. There are 2 golems up there. So again, like if you're like, oh my god, what's going on? You're new to the game. That's what's happening. Traveler's getting murdered. All right, so we're going to turn around, and there's the smoke. That's what we want to see. We're going to stay to the right. There's a crab that will spawn up out of there if you go right through the middle. Grab the blood rose since we're right there. I think we're going to need like 600 runes. Hoping one more of the travelers died so I don't have to pop a rune.
Perfect blood. I got crap.
So now he's got boiled crab, and this is the upgrade. We don't have enough runes to grab it right now. But like this is something where, you know, like you farm up a bunch of runes, you run by here later, get a whole bunch of them. You know, 60 to 100, you know, like when we reach the bird farm later on, I come back and buy a bunch of these. Okay, I do not do Dung Eater's quest line. So he will always be here. I do not value Dung Eater at all as a summons. I don't value his armor set. Dung Eater, if I see him, I just kill him. So we're gonna ride around the side this way. So again, we don't aggro the giant crab. They're not as bad as the lobsters, but there's still more than I want to deal with. And we're just heading over here to the east again and riding up this little ravine. So there are going to be two bears, two generic bears. One of them is sleeping and one of them is by that statue. This statue, for those of you who don't know, we did it in the first episode. First or second episode. And you want to run. The bears will come inside here. So yeah, you want to jump scare from the bear. You want to get on this lift and start heading down because I've had bears follow me in here. They haven't dropped on the elevator, but don't be that person where you're like, ah, Bill, you told me they wouldn't get on the elevator. They'll get on the elevator with you. Don't mess around. Just go. So we're gonna go down here. There are two very good armor sets in here, plus a nice holy weapon that you can get with a stone sword key. We have the beast repellent torch. We could actually probably go in there and grab it, but we're gonna save that for a separate episode if we even cover it. I typically don't do that as part of my walkthrough prep when I'm prepping for a new character to go to the DLC. I don't get that armor set. It's like there's like it's one of the knight sets, and then there's a crucible set, but you have to beat double crucible knights, which are also not even close to being set up for. But the other one you can get for free. You just have to know how to run through the dungeon. So we went to do that just so we could de-aggro Mr. Bear, and we're gonna head to our next mark. There's a rune bear over here. We'll see him in a minute. He's the one we used to break open the statue, just like we did in the trolls in the earlier episode back at the very beginning. I ain't messing with him right now. I don't need those runes or those smithing materials, the regular smithing materials. That's why we're getting Bloodhound's Fang. So we're just coming in here to grab the grace. And we're coming back outside. And then a couple of things we're gonna backtrack on. Let's get rid of our mark. So the first thing, we want to go all the way back to Limgrave. And we want to go to the Stormhill Shack. And there should be a golden seed waiting for us now that Roderica, whom we met earlier, is now our spirit tuner. So we grab the golden seed. Heck, I'm falling through the floor. That's lovely. So we're done with that, and then we want to go right back over here to the Church of Ella. We got to talk to Kale, and we got to get an emote, the finger snap, so we can talk to Blythe and get our Bloodhound's Fang. And we want to get the crafting kit.
And I can also that you're not up. Then why not? I am Carly.
So, Howling in the Mistwood.
I suppose he mustn't. Next time you hear the don't fret. I just haven't.
So now we have finger snap. Let's go ahead and hit purchase. I'm I'm gonna go ahead and sell him a... We want the crafting kit and we want all 3 of his cracked pots. So we need 1200. Basic torch, we already have the lantern. The torch just has a wider radius, but you need to hold it in your hand. So that takes away from a shield or being able to dual wield. You can use the torches as a weapon, but they suck. So don't bother. Bone arrows, glowstones, we don't need those. So 1200 runes, sell what you need, pop some of the runes you're carrying around. You should have plenty at this point. How much do I need? Let me just pop one of those and we have enough. 1, 2, 3. And the crafting kit. So we got that.
Goodbye. Night.
Okay, so let's check our inventory. So smithing stones, we have enough smithing stones to get our regular weapon, our Morning Star, up to +4. So we can do 12 of these and 2 of these. So we'll swing by Round Table Hold and do that. We want to do that before we do the next part. We're going to go over here to gestures and just get rid of one of them. It doesn't matter which one. I'm not bowing at anyone. And we're not doing PvP. Here's finger snap. We're going to put that on. So that's available when we go to get Blythe. And we're going to go pull up our map and YXA. Go to Round Table Hold, whatever it is on your controller. Blacksmith. I wonder if we are 1 smithing stone 2 away from being able to get another level out of our weapon. Plus, we want to turn in our bell bearing. So now we can buy 3s and 4s. Does she have 2s? She does not. I forget who had them. One of my dudes out there in the world, I might have been the dude at the very bottom of Weeping Peninsula who had smithing stone 2s. That we can go get a couple more and maybe get another level out of. So anyway, we turned that in. That's what I wanted to accomplish there. She doesn't have what we need. I'm really not that worried about it.
Well, I took you for dead. No matter, it's all out your arms then.
Okay, so gonna pop some more runes. Probably gonna need about 1200 again. Gets more expensive the more you do, so we'll pop another golden rune 4. Been doing the walkthrough. You should have these already. This is why I saved them instead of using them to level up. So level up, level up, level up. And we need another 600. So we will sell golden rune 3, strength and armament. Okay, there we go. All right, so now our Morning Star is +4. It's not so incredibly horrible. So we are going to... Well, that's a little... I don't need to go see him. We're not too worried about it. We're going to go back to Fort Height. And then we're going to head over here to the Mistwood Ruins again to get Blythe. And then we're going to hop over here to Aguil Lake South and go to the Everjail. And we're going to fight Darrowwill to get our weapon for the rum. All right, so let's make it morning. So just a reminder, we are keeping the Morning Star. Let's go ahead and level up our flask. We've got our mark. Let's head out. So the Morning Star is our strike weapon. We are going to use that against enemies that are weak to strike damage, which is pretty much like the Underground, the Miners, the Falling Star Beast. They're weak to strike. Right past the demi-humans. Hear the howling. We want to go around the side. Right over here is fine. Tallest part, you can see him up there. So we want to open up our menu, go to gestures, do finger snap. He's gonna pop down.
Who goes there? Carly sent you, did he? The name's Blood. He fled somewhere. Come tell me if I can offer you. Darrowell is not in need of a...
Okay, so we got him. Done with that part. Let's head over here. So for my veterans, you know the deal. For the new people, you can summon NPCs into certain fights from outside the arena. That will boost the boss's health in a lot of situations. Some arenas have summon signs inside. If you summon an NPC inside of an arena, it does not inflate the boss's health. Also, if you use a spirit summon, like our Fanged Imps, that will not inflate the boss's health either. So just ride past these guys. We got the Everjail. One more thing, let's just hop back real quick. We're gonna put something in our Flask of Wondrous Physics. So again, for the new people, Flask of Wondrous Physics, those of you coming from Nightreign, you know what this is. It's a similar version to that. Put in various crystal tiers and it will boost our attributes for 3 minutes. So let's see, we want to go to Mix Wondrous Physic. First slot, we are just going to put in the Strength tier. And second slot, we have the Dex tier. Our weapon scales off the Strength and Dex. It should boost both of those stats by 10 points each when we drink our flask. So this is going to be kind of the start of our little buffing routine that we're going to do before boss fights. Wilde is going to help us. We're going to summon him inside. Our job is to not die. We don't have to do a lot of damage. We just have to kind of run around, maybe get in a cheeky hit or two. At this point, you have 11 flasks, and 10 of them are healing, and they're +7. We only have 20 vigor, so every time we heal, it's going to be a full heal. Let's go ahead and hop in. So this gold thing is our summoning sign for Blythe. Summon Cooperator, and then we're going to swap down here. We want to be really cheeky. We can go into our inventory, and so he's summoning up. And our dude is over there. He's going to summon it up when we go over there. Hopefully he won't summon him up while I'm doing the video. So we're going to put on our boiled prawn. So typically before I go into a boss fight, when we have Bloodhound's Fang, we'll go over that more. So we're going to drink our physic. We're going to eat our boiled prawn this time. Normally it would be a boiled crab. There are other buffs that we can do, but at this point we're just going to spawn in Darrowell, and then we are going to get the hell out of the way. Because he has the weapon that we're using, we want to use. So R1 spam, get the hell out. He's almost dead. We can throw in a Hoarfrost Stomp. One more, he's already dead. Okay? So like I said, you don't have to do the damage. You just kind of get off some Hoarfrost Stomps and whatever. Bloodhound Fang is ours. It's going to warp us out of the Everjail. And where is Blythe? He should be right over there by the tree. We'll talk to him. He'll give us like a Somber 2.
Not to work for it. Don't say I'm not.
Somber 2. Great.
Oh yes.
Thanks, man.
North to tell him I sent he'll be sure I owe you one.
Okay, all right. So that's it. We now have our weapon for the run. The Bloodhound's Fang. We do not have the stats to use it. But when we go farm Grail, which we will do soon, those are going to be our stat points. We want to get 18 strength, 17 dex, and then we're going to dump the rest into vigor and maybe pick up a couple more points of endurance. But that's it. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up here, and I will pick up with you guys right here in the next episode. Actually, let's go to a site of grace. Let's go back to the round table and we'll pick it up there, just so we're all starting in the same spot. And I'll see you in the next episode of the walkthrough.